僕に乗りたいんだ。
乗るよ。
もう一度。
俺をストレリチアに乗せてくれ。
Doggy Style and the Franxx is an anime that came out in 2018 and totally took the world by storm. It had great fights, strong character interactions, but all of that paled in comparison to the real phenomenon. It had a certified waifu. Everyone loves cute anime girls more than anything, being something to project all of your pent-up lust and loneliness onto, and 02 is one of the best in the business. She has pink hair, horns, boobs, the whole package you need to lure in the casual viewer. Everything from the character's mannerisms to the way she looks were crafted and perfected in some disappointed parent's basement. And it worked. She alone brought an immense amount of attention to the production. And while we could sit here all day and talk about 02 body pillows and other questionable merchandise that are out there, what I really want to touch on is the show the character belongs to, because my god is it worth talking about. A show whose main premise revolves around children assuming a sex position in order to operate large robots and destroy giant monsters is a very imaginative idea. In practice, in order to turn on the robot, you need to turn on the pilot as well. This is a very important and necessary detail, as shown by the practice machine also having a kadonkadonk as the steering wheel to serve as sufficient arousal material. After you've ensured the door to your room is securely locked so that nobody can walk in and witness the weird shit that you're into, what lies beyond that outer layer of horny teenage angst is a surprisingly bleak story. Our main characters, who you can distinguish by them having a different hair color from the rest of the peasants, serve one purpose and one purpose alone, and that is to pilot these giant robots. The Earth as we know it has been ravaged by the monsters known as klaxosaurs, and in order to protect itself, humanity abandoned the surface and migrated into these mobile fortresses called plantations. It is the children's job to protect these plantations and all of the people inside from the aggressive monsters outside. Being born and raised for this single purpose, it's uncommon for a child to even be given a name, instead going by their code number, as all other information is deemed to be pointless or unnecessary. Except gender. That's important, so they put a big ass X or Y chromosome on the kids' uniforms, just in case you forget. While fighting for their lives, our characters slowly grow to question the world around them, to desperately reach out and grasp for any other meaning their lives may hold outside of their use as pilots. They build relationships, experience new emotions, and struggle against the world that they have come to realize has cast them away. Basically puberty. If meaningful relationships and wholesomeness aren't your cup of tea, don't worry. There is still plenty for you to enjoy here. My favorite episode is episode 8, where one of the monsters secretes this blue goop that somehow leaks into the sex robots, lands perfectly on top of the female pilots, and happens to have a unique interaction of melting clothes. Hats off to that monster. An extremely clever application and approach to destroying its enemies. Really just one step up in the strategic department. Something that I have purposely neglected to talk about up until this point, and something that all of you may know about very well, is the notoriety the show gained in regards to its ending. It's really a shame because throughout 3/4 of the show, everything is pretty fantastic. The entire concept is fucking hilarious. Well-animated giant robots kicking the shit out of each other will always be entertaining, and when it wants to be, it can actually tell a pretty heartwarming narrative. It reaches a natural conclusion as well, where the main relationship drama has been solved, everybody is happy, and they've learned that there is more to life than what they had initially believed. And then everything just fucking explodes. It's like the directors smirked, stretched back in their chairs, all impressed with what they had created, and then we're told by the higher-ups that they still have 8 episodes to fill. Fuck! I'm completely unable to do justice to how ludicrous some of the asspulls are, how obvious it was that they blew their emotional load of the show far too early. And because they wrapped up a bunch of the main story threads too early, the cohesiveness of the show just falls apart. Like, whenever you were in school and had to write a 5-page paper, you do the assignment, meet all the requirements, but then realize that you had only filled 3.5 pages, so you go and write a couple extra bullshit paragraphs that add absolutely nothing but filler. I mean, come on, you cannot convince me somebody thought that this was a good idea. It's like nobody took a step back and looked at what they had actually made. Why do we need to go to space? Why is 02 a galactic spaceship? They had an idea and ran with it, but at no point did they take the time to think about whether it actually made sense or added anything to the overarching narrative. I'm convinced the director must have just had an epiphany one night, woke up in his cum-stained underwear and said, "That's it." Oh god. You know you're in for a trip when the supposed enemy of the entire show isn't introduced until you are 4 episodes away from the conclusion. And from the way I've been talking about it the past couple of minutes, you probably think that I just absolutely despise the show for wasting my time and ruining a great idea. I loved watching this show. While there are most certainly a boatload of plot holes, they are so over the top ridiculous that they just end up being a spectacle to watch, while also maintaining some of the emotional strokes that made the story entertaining in the first place. It's a story of what makes a human human, what mundane things give our lives meaning, and what not to do when it comes to writing the end of a show. It's a perfect mashup of both the insanity and storytelling that we all began watching anime for in the first place. And the imagination displayed in this show gives me hope for future anime productions and the wild ideas they may bring to life. The beauty of the medium of anime is that there are no limitations for what you can or cannot create. If you can imagine it, the only thing stopping you is you. And if that idea happens to be doggy-style robots, you know, fuck it, more power to you. Bang. Hey y'all, hope you enjoyed listening to me rant about robot sex. Not every day you get the opportunity to do that. Leave a comment below to let me know what you think, and I will see you at the next one. Peace.